Hello and welcome to the 9th week of Season 22, Season of the Witch, starting on October 17th, 2023. So for week 9, let's kick things off with our legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in Ria Silvia, and has the Dark Monastery mission for the next week. The Blind World features Taken Enemies and the Plague Ina Mina. The Ascendant challenge this week will be the Keep of Owned Edges, which can be located over in the Harbinger's Seclude on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is in the Deep. The Trove Guardian is located in the Hellmouth, while the Wandering Nightmare is the Fallen Council in Archer's Line. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Fogoth, Fear, Crota, Despair, and the Fanatic, Insanity. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Praxis the Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. For the 30th Anniversary expansion, Dares of Eternity Legendary rounds are Hive, Vex, and for the final round, Valasta Arc. The loot rotation will be on week 2's rotation, with the Scatterhorn armor set, and the Perfectus armor set being available. The weapons available this week will be the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Auto Rifle Scathelock, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Submachine Gun Extraordinary Rendition, the Void Aggressive Burst Sidearm Brass Attacks, the Void Precision Frame Linear Fusion Rifle Threaded Needle, the Solar High Impact Frame Rocket Launcher Go Duello, the Void Lightweight Frame Bow Imperial Needle, the Solar Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Far Future, the Arc Adaptive Frame Sword Honor's Edge, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Sniper Rifle Distant Terminus, the Arc Adaptive Frame Grenade Launcher Interference 6, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Shepherd's Watch, and the Solar Adaptive Frame Hand Cannon Annual Skate. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Communion, where the modifier is Empath, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Also this week you will have Altar of Reflection's Choice, and Altar of Reflection's Pact. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is No Time Left, with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, lock loadouts at Legend difficulty and higher, Void Threat, Void and Strand Shields, Pestilence, Arc and Strand Surges, with overcharged machine guns and galvanized on hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Hard Reset, Contest Mode enabled with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, Arc Threat, Scorched Earth, Pestilence and Martyr modifiers, Arc and Strand Shields, with Void and Strand Surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Liming Harbour. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon Exotic mission on the EDZ. For the Season of the Deep, all 3 fishing ponds are now exotic all week. Raids and Dungeons. The Crota's End raid challenge this week is the first encounter, Enter the Abyss, called Conservation of Energy. Guardians must alternate between depositing the Chalice of Light in a podium and enlightening a lamp. Plus, if you complete the weekly challenge on Master, you'll get an Adept weapon. The Adept weapon you get is a random drop, but works on a knockout system. You will get a new one with every challenge you complete every week until you've unlocked them all. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the second encounter, Scission, called Crossfire. No one can shoot the launch crystals on the side they're currently standing on. The Kingsfall raid challenge this week is the second encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the brand of the initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the brand claimer's buff. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the third encounter, the Upender, called Defenses Down. This is where each player cannot kill more than 1 Taken Knight in total. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the third encounter, Templar, called Out of Its Way, where you must keep the Templar from teleporting. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the first encounter, Crypt Security, called Red Rover. This is where all Guardians must be an operator and shoot the 2 panels on the lower levels. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the second encounter, Shurichi, called Witch Witch. Guardians must not get hit or take damage from Shurichi's Arc Blast. Your Pinnacle raid will be the Garden of Salvation over on the Moon, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the first encounter, Embrace, called To the Top. This is where you must not kill the Cyclopses that spawn near the Consecrated Mine. The second encounter, Spy Defense, called A Link to the Chain. This is where all Guardians must receive the Enlighten buff at the same time. The third encounter, Consecrated Mine, called Staying Alive, where you must not kill the spawning Cyclopses in the first 2 rooms. And the fourth encounter, Sanctified Mind, called 0 to 100, where you must fully fill each conflux with 30 motes within 10 seconds of initially banking the first set of motes. Also, with the Gun of Salvation being the featured raid, this does mean that you might be able to find a team to guide you through the final part of the Divine Fragment quest and raid puzzles to collect the exotic trace rifle Divinity. The Pinnacle dungeon will be the Pit of Heresy on the Moon, and our exotic mission Rotator will be Operation Seraph Shield, with the Revision 0 exotic pulse rifle being the main reward. Craftable weapons available from this mission include the Stasis Aggressive Frame Linear Fusion Rifle Fire and Forget, the Arc Lightweight Frame Bow Tripwire Canary, the Stasis Aggressive Burst Pulse Rifle Disparity, the Arc Adaptive Frame Trace Rifle Path of Least Resistance, the Solar Aggressive Glaive Judgment of Kelgaroth, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun Retrofit Escapade, the Void Precision Frame Hand Cannon iCalos HC, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun iCalos SG, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Sniper iCalos SR, and the Arc Aggressive Frame Submachine Gun iCalos SMG, with the Warmind's Avatar armor set. Next up, challenges. Soul Sorcery. Defeat 1000 combatants anywhere in the system with the damage type that matches your subclass. Earn bonus progress for combatants defeated in Haunted Lost sectors during Fest of the Lost. 4. Challenge XP+. Sun and Moon. Defeat 75 combatants with void or solar damage in Altars of Summoning. 4. Challenge XP+. Into the Unknown. Complete 100 Lost sectors on Neptune, in Savathun's Throne World, or on Europa. Haunted Lost sectors also grant progress during Fest of the Lost. 4. Challenge XP. Ritual Ornament. Acquire any ornament for the seasonal ritual weapon. 4. Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Moon Activities. On the Moon, earn progress by completing bounties, patrols, public events and Lost sectors. 4. Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Eyeing Iron. Complete Crucible matches. Earn bonus progress in Iron Banner and for victories. 4. Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. And Darkest Nightfall. Complete any Nightfall strike on hero difficulty or higher. 4. Challenge XP++, Bright Dust and a Nightfall weapon. Hello! As a reminder, your daily Lost sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armour you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the Lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a Legend/Master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you'll only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. Tuesday, October 17th will be Extraction on the Throne World for exotic chests, Arc Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Arc and Void Shields, Raider Shield Modifier, Overcharged Glaives with Overload and Unstoppable Champions. Wednesday, October 18th will be Metamorphosis on the Throne World for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Arc and Solar Shields, Scorched Earth Modifier, Overcharged Machine Guns with Overload and Unstoppable Champions. Thursday, October 19th will be K1 Revelations on the Moon for exotic boots, Void Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Arc Shields, Fire Pit Modifier, Overcharged Machine Guns with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Friday, October 20th will be K1 Communion on the Moon for exotic gauntlets, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Solar and Void Shields, Arachno Modifier, Overcharged Linear Fusion Rifles with Barrier and Overload Champions. Saturday, October 21st will be the K1 Crew Quarters on the Moon for exotic chests, Arc Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Solar Shields, Hot Knife Modifier, Overcharged Glaives with Barrier and Overload Champions. Sunday, October 22nd will be Concealed Void on Europa for exotic helmets, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Void and Solar Shields, Arachno Modifier, Overcharged Trace Rifles with Barrier and Overload Champions. And finally, back round to Monday, October 23rd will be Bunker E15 on Europa for exotic boots, Void Threat, Solar and Strand Surges, Void Shields, Shocker Modifier, Overcharged Grenade Launchers with Barrier and Overload Champions.
Lead the way.
Our ninth featured Nightfall of the season will see us face off against Hashladun, daughter of Crota, in the Scarlet Keep over on the Moon, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You'll be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, ascendant shards and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with ascendant shards in Grand Masters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 7 barrier champions and 3 unstoppable, with 18 solar and 23 arc shields. Masters and Gems will have 16 barrier and 4 unstoppable, with 18 solar and 12 arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are hero difficulty maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available, enemies have extra shields, champions foe, you will face barrier and unstoppable champions, You can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff, or unlock anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. Arc Threat, 25% increase to incoming arc damage. Overcharged weapons. Weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Void and Strand surges, 25% bonus to outgoing Void and Strand damage. Overcharged snipers, 25% bonus damage with snipers. Empath, enhanced radar, take increased damage from melee. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 18-15, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment once the mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 18-20, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Togetherness, your base health regen is reduced, but if near another player, health regen is increased. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 18-15, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized, Empath and Togetherness. Join in progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fighting falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. Fire pit, when defeated acolytes spawn fireballs that cause damage over time. And Chafe, radar is disabled. To combat champions this season, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods, which are Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle, Anti-Barrier Bow, Unstoppable Scout Rifle, and Unstoppable Fusion. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Anti-Barrier, the Kinetic Bow Wishender, the Kinetic Linear Fusion Rifle Arbalest, the Kinetic Pulse Rifle Revision 0, the Solar Energy Hand Cannon Eriana's Vow, the Solar Heavy Sword the Lament, and the Titan Gauntlet's Second Chance, which gain a second charge of a shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. And for Unstoppable, the Kinetic Fusion Rifle Bastion, the Kinetic Hand Cannon Malfeasance, the Kinetic Scout Rifle Touch of Malice, the Solar Energy Sidearm Devil's Ruin, the Void Heavy Bow Leviathan's Breath, and the Hunter Gauntlet's Atheris's Embrace, which have a chance to stun unstoppable champions with their empowered weighted knife. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sidearm, the Buzzard. The Buzzard has a base impact of 49, range of 36 and stability of 67. It can roll with Frenzy, Rangefinder and Kinetic Tremors, with Pulse Monitor, Perpetual Motion and Overflow. It has the origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. And Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. Lord Shaxx brings Momentum Control to the Crucible for the 9th week of the season. Momentum Control is a 6v6 PvP mode which is a variation on the regular control mode, where every weapon is significantly higher in lethality, meaning that you can take out your opponents much faster than normal. Respawns are instant, and defeating enemy players in Momentum Control will grant faster regeneration on your melee, grenade and super. Players get increased damage resistance when they activate a super, to help counteract that little bit of extra damage that the guns give out. The mode also has increased capture speed on points and radar is removed for every player. Achieve victory by capturing zones and defeating opponents. And Rift will also be available in the Relentless Crucible playlist. Rift is a 6v6 game mode that focuses heavily on objective-based gameplay and not just killing the enemy team. Instead of accruing points based on defeating enemies, players can score points by picking up the spark and dunking into their opponent's rift, which is near the enemy spawn. A team can either win by scoring 5 points before the opposing team can, by scoring 3 points without the enemy team getting a look in, or having more points when the time runs out. The spark spawns in the centre of the map and starts to charge after 6 seconds of the round starting, and becomes visible for all players on the map. After another 12 to 13 seconds, the spark is available for players to pick up, giving both teams approximately 20 seconds to fight over the spark before either side can pick it up. For 5 seconds after a player picks up the spark, they become marked on both teams' maps. After that, they're only marked on their own team's map unless they are in view of the enemy team. The carrier can only hold onto the spark for 1 minute and 15 seconds. After that, the spark detonates, killing the carrier and those around them before resetting. Should the carrier die in any way that isn't from the spark detonating, the spark drops at that location. If a player picks up the spark whilst in their super, they are immediately pulled out of their super. Furthermore, they will not gain any more super energy whilst holding the spark, and will be unable to use their super even if it is fully charged. If a player dies, they must wait 10 seconds before respawning, but their teammates can revive them during this time. This forces players to focus on teamwork to help push up on their enemies, but can also leave some players out of the game for an extended duration if their team can't or won't revive them. Also available in the Crucible Labs playlist this week will be the first week of the new game mode Checkmate Rumble. Checkmate Rumble is a 6-player free-for-all Crucible mode, where points are gained through scoring kills against enemy players. Level advantages are disabled in this game mode, and whoever has the most points at the end wins, earning the Alone at the Top medal. Unlike other game types, the player is alone, requiring a very different form of play. Smaller maps are normally featured in the Rumble playlist, so player density is typically high, meaning engagements will occur often between the 6 players. The best path to success can be to lock down one area and control it, like a heavy ammo spawn point. These areas can be high to medium traffic and players will often come to you, giving you the advantages to prepare for their approach. Don't forget that the checkmate parameters are in play, with primary weapon damage being tuned to feel a little differently from the rest of the game. Players also have increased health, and passive regeneration of the grenade, melee and class abilities have all been reduced by 50%, and supers by 40%. Also, you will not spawn in with special ammo. Instead, you will have to earn it by generating points from kills, assists, deaths, zone captures and gathering heavy ammo. You won't lose points accumulated on death, and special ammo you earn persists through lives and rounds. Additionally, you will not drop special ammo on death.
Delightful!
And Saint 14 will be back at the weekend with Trials of Osiris Dominion, bringing with him a whole host of rewards for players who do make it to the lighthouse and open the chest. These include the Hero's Wake exotic Ghost Shell, the Valiant Memory exotic Ship, the Survivor's Journey exotic Sparrow, a new armor set, and the new Trials shader, Bloodline Feud. Trials of Osiris Dominion is a 3v3 PvP high-stakes game mode with a twist of a capture point. In Dominion, 2 teams of 3 go head-to-head in a battle for control of a capture point. Teams can either work together to capture the control point, or eliminate the enemy team to win the round. Only available from Friday Reset until Tuesday Weekly Reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought-after weapons and armor. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials of Osiris will grant exclusive weapons, armor, Pinnacle gear, Masterwork materials, and even Adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you the match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
The Festival of the Lost 2023 goes live this Tuesday with a whole host of haunted activities and rewards, and Eververse will be packed to the rafters with cosmetics to enhance your spooky shenanigans. And that's it for week 9 of Season of the Witch. By Art Guardians.
Guardian down.